Hey, everybody on the Winterweb. This is Sam. Hey, who's on the other side over there?
Hey, everybody. This is Mark.
Not every time, but frequently, I think you forget your name because you have a pause between the hey, everybody. This is Mark. I'm not always sure you know who you are, but I know who you are, and that's important.
Well, thanks, Sam. I know who you are as well.
Right on. Hey, how you been?
Allergies.
You mentioned that earlier. Allergies. Are you frustrated about allergies?
Allergies are fogging my brain.
Your brain doesn't need any fogging.
No, it's fogged up enough.
That's okay. That's right. But
help in that area.
Enough about the fogginess. We'll get to more positive. You ready for this week's mission?
Yes, sir.
Sportsmanship.
I like it.
I dig it. In this last week where I serve, we had volleyball, cross country, football, softball, all going at once. And it was interesting. Mark, are you familiar with the app Time Hop?
Yes, it shows you old pictures that you took.
And, well, or statuses in general. And I had one pop up about a year ago that was a sportsmanship post that I had. And I read and I thought, gosh, sometimes I actually come up with good stuff. And the quote I had on there is, sportsmanship is just good citizenship when people happen to be keeping score.
Nice.
Which I like, because for some reason when you start keeping score, people abandon their normal rules of citizenship and think it's fine for me to behave differently because there's a scoreboard. And that drives me nuts. So to that end, this week, all about sportsmanship, which goes from our little kindergartners playing on the playground all the way up to our high school kids. So specifically, students, make sure that you display good sportsmanship. And when people are a good sport to you, make sure you compliment them on that. Coaches, normally we don't say coaches, but they are staff members, and coaches should be doing all the missions all the time anyway. Staff, parents, volunteers, same thing. Be looking for those specific examples of good sportsmanship and make sure you validate that when it happens. I would even say preemptively go and talk about sportsmanship. I actually did that this week. It's not something I suppose a superintendent normally does, but I talked to our 8th grade girls volleyball team because the coach said, I'd like you to come in and talk about sportsmanship. And I talked about how when it gets to be game time, how you all get nervous. And it's harder to do the right thing, which is why you practice the right thing, setting, hitting, whatever in practice. Same thing with sportsmanship. You got to start by treating each other with respect on the court at practice. And then it's easier to treat your opponent with respect when you're nervous in game time. Brother Mark, what do you have to add about sportsmanship?
It is a perfect time for sportsmanship. You know, I've got McKenna and Sam, and Sam is now in football. And so there's a lot of talk about sportsmanship on his end. And I just had a 4th grade student. They've been playing soccer on the playground, and it's been a little rough, as recess soccer sometimes gets. And he came to me and said, Mr. Johnson, do you think we could have a sportsmanship mission? And I said, I think that is a great idea.
From the mouths of babes.
From the mouths of babes. So this is perfect timing.
You know, and I think it can be such a mind shift, because one of my all-time favorite fighters, you know, I'm into the whole fighting thing, is a guy named Genki Sudo. He was a Japanese fighter, and he would bring his opponent gifts that they just spent 30 minutes in a cage just trying to wail on each other. And he would bring his opponent a gift. He said, because there's no one I respect more than my opponent. Without my opponent, I have no purpose to be here. They are what makes this possible. My training would have no function without them. So I always think, gosh, that is just a great model to follow, that you need to have the utmost respect for your opponent, because without the opponent, there is no game, there's no contest, there's no reason. Dude, it's all about sportsmanship. That's what I'm talking about.
I think as teachers talk with their kids about sportsmanship and parents talk about sportsmanship, I think it's important for them to actually talk about, what does it look like?
For sure.
What does it sound like? I mean, give some specific examples, because otherwise we can just talk about sportsmanship and, hey, you should be a good sportsman or woman. Go go do it. I think they need specific examples, something to say and practice when they're out in those environments.
And when you see it happen, it's so important to validate it, because sometimes, especially when they're younger, a kid's just playing and he doesn't even realize, boy, that was a great example of respect. And that's awesome when you can compliment a kid. It's like, hey, you know, when you just had that other kid come over there and started playing that game, I was really good. That's exactly what we're talking about. And that kid goes, I was just having fun. And now it's a bigger deal. I love it when that happens. Right on. Mark, you got anything else you want to say about the mission?
I do not.
All right, I got two more things. At this point in time, when we're recording this, I don't know who won our free book. But by this time, when you people are watching this, I will have tweeted out who won our free book for retweeting a mission last week. Here's what we want you to do this week. Mark, is it okay with you if we give away another free book?
Oh, I suppose so.
All right, we're going to give away another free book. Here's what I want you to do. There are multiple links to our book, whether it's off of Amazon or CreateSpace or straight from our missionmonday.com website. We have the ebook. We have the paperback. Anybody that tweets out a link to our book and also puts the @MissionMonday handle in there, and you also have to tweet it at somebody specifically. You have to tweet this out to a peer, an educator, a parent, someone else you think might benefit from the book. Say, hey, have you checked this out? And so that we know you're doing it. That's why you're putting our Twitter handle in there. So if you want to get a shot at a free book, tweet out a link to our book with our Twitter handle and the Twitter handle of somebody else you're trying to share it with. Mark, does that make sense?
It doesn't make sense to me, but I drifted off a little bit there. I bet if I played it back, I'd figure out what you wanted me to do.
I don't really need you to do anything, and somehow I'm not surprised. But I already gave you 5 books. You don't need a free one, so it's okay.
So I don't have to tweet anything?
You don't have to tweet anything, Mark.
Woo.
Not a thing.
Okay, good.
All right. I will catch you later, brother.
Bye-bye.